Hi everyone, can you hear me?
Yeah.
So we're just gonna wait for everybody to hop on and then we'll get started. Okay, so we're just gonna get started. Um, are there only 4 people here? Or is it just me? Or can I just not see the people?
I also only just see 3 people, actually 5 people now.
Okay. That's fine. Yeah, why don't we just get started? Whoever's here is here, whoever's not will join later. I'm gonna share my screen. Actually, one second. Okay, um, we'll let people join. We'll give some more time because I won't be repeating everything, so yeah. But if you want to know, today we'll be learning about if statements, for loops, and while loops. We'll give our free on until 1:02. For the people that are here, just have your editor open and ready, and the slides as well, if you need to look at them.
Okay.
Okay, a lot of people haven't arrived, but we're just gonna start now because we're 4 minutes over anyway. So today we're gonna be learning about if statements, for loops, and while loops. So we're gonna start off with the if statements. So I want you to have your editor open. Um, have your editor open, and we'll create a new project. And I'll just share my screen. Give me a second. Um, okay, I'm gonna reshare it. There was just a problem. Hmm. Okay, great. You can see my screen, right?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can.
Okay. Um, so what I want you to do right now is just go to File and then New File, and then like we've done before, just create a new project. So it'll come up as Untitled. You just need to do Control S.
Go.
You need to do Control S. Go to your local disk C and save it in Python projects. And what I want you to name it if statements. Yes, Nandini.
I just joined a little late, so what are we doing right now?
What we're doing right now, we didn't do anything. We're just creating a new project and saving it in our C drive. So we have our project created, and so first I'm going to explain what if statements are. If statements are used to see if something is either true or false. So you can think of it as a video game. So if the player reaches 100 points, give him 10 extra bonus points. Or if this person has been traveling recently, I don't know, has been traveling 5 times, has traveled 5 times on a plane, um upgrade him to business class. So that's what an if statement is. It asks Python if something is true or not. So it's most commonly used when developing like games. When you're saying like if they've reached a certain amount of points, they earn this achievement, this badge, anything like that. So we're actually gonna just get started right now. This is gonna be a simple example. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna define two variables. We're gonna have two variables, and we're gonna define them as either true or false. And remember, a variable represents something, and it can also hold a true or false value. So, for example, if I say, mouse, I don't know, mouse in cat cage, and this is a variable. We can either define this or set this equal to true or false. And I'm not gonna set it equal to anything right now. I'm just gonna leave it blank and put my other variable. And it's gonna be mouse not in cat cage. And the reason I'm not using a space is because sometimes it gives you an error, but that's why I'm using an underscore. And I'm gonna set this equal to blank. So there's something called if in Python. So if I go underneath here, and when I type if, it turns yellow, meaning Python knows what this is, and it recognizes it. So if we can say the mouse, before I do that, actually, I'm going to actually assign values to these. So if the mouse is in the cat cage, then we can set this to either true or false. So what we can do, we can set this to false right now. And we can set the bottom one to true. And so what we're going to basically do right now is we're going to ask Python to print statements based on whether or not the mouse is in or isn't in the cat's cage. So if you see this, currently the mouse is not in the cat cage because the first value is equal to false and the second mouse not in cat cage is equal to true. So if we say the mouse is in the cat's cage, then we can say after this we have to put a colon so that we know. So after an if statement or what we want to do, if the mouse is in the cat cage, then we have to put a colon so that Python knows that it needs to do something after that. It's a condition. So if the mouse is in the cat cage, then we're going to ask Python to print the mouse will get eaten. Will get eaten. And that's just a simple example. If the mouse is in the cat cage, which it is not right now, but if it is, it's going to print the mouse will get eaten. And that's just one if statement. There's also an else statement. And what this else statement does is it says if this is not true and there aren't any other values, you need something to do. You can't just leave it blank. So else, enter, and then we say we can say print the mouse will stay um so that's what an else statement does. If the if statement isn't like true, it doesn't work, then the else statement will come in. So if I run this right now, it's gonna say the mouse will stay safe because this value isn't true. Mouse in cat cage is set to false, meaning this isn't true, so it won't work. Anything besides this will work. So the anything inside the else statement will work. That's why it said the mouse will stay safe over here.
Okay.
Okay, ask any questions right now because it might be confusing. None? Okay, that's fine then. As long as you understand it.
Actually, I do have a question.
Yeah.
So when I run the module, for me it says name mouse in the cage is not defined.
Um, did you how about you share your screen because it's most likely just a simple error like spelling or something because that
Oh, you gotta enable participant share screen sharing.
okay. Okay, I did.
Okay. So can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it.
So if I did the exact same thing as you, and if I run this module, this thing comes up.
I don't see what's coming up. I don't know why.
Okay. 1 second.
I can see your code. Actually, just keep your code there so that I can try to fish out the error. Okay. Oh, so what you did, you didn't set it equal to false. What you did is you put a minus sign instead of the equal sign.
Oh, okay. I thought you also put a minus sign. Sorry.
Oh, it's an equal sign. So,
Okay. Thank you.
okay. I'll reshare. So essentially what it's saying is the mouse is not in the cat cage. It's not in the cat's cage. And if it was in the cat's cage, it would print the mouse will get eaten. But since it's not, it's printing the mouse will stay safe. There's also another statement in Python, and it's called else if. But the abbreviation for that, how it's used in Python, is called ELIF, elif. So this basically means it's just another if statement. If this isn't true, it'll check if this one is true. And if none of these are true, it's just gonna give you the else value. So we can say else if mouse not in cat cage, and make sure to have all your capitals and spelling the same, or else it won't work. And then I have here else if the mouse is not in the cat's cage, then we can tell Python to print the mouse will stay safe. Any questions so far about else if or anything? Okay. Oh, Akshay, do you have a question?
Yeah, you said that the else print was like that, but it's like elif, like
Yeah,
that.
it's elif. It's called else if, but Python just has it abbreviated to elif. That's the actual function.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Prisha.
Why are there two of the same things? Like elif and else.
Oh, I didn't change it yet. So what we're saying here, so the mouse is currently in the cat's cage. Or no, it's not. It's not. So we're saying if the mouse is in the cat's cage, it's going to print the mouse will get eaten. If there's another if statement, if the mouse is not in the cat cage, it will say the mouse will stay safe. And then for the else, we can say, let's just say we don't know where the mouse is. We can say, we can say the status of the mouse is unknown. And status is just basically like where it is or what it's doing. So we don't know where it is. So right now, the mouse is in the cat's cage. It's no, the mouse is not in the cat's cage. Meaning it says mouse if mouse in the cat cage, it won't print this because it's not. If the mouse is not in the cat's cage, it's gonna print the mouse will stay safe. So then if we run this, it should print the mouse will stay safe. But if we set this to false, if both of these are, okay, I spelled that wrong. False. So now we've set both of these to false. So it's not in the cat cage and it's not in the cage and it's not out of the cage. In other words, we don't know where it is. We don't know where it is right now. So now else is going to come into play because none of these are true. So what it's going to do is it's going to say the status of the mouse is unknown. If we run this, it should print that. The status of the mouse is unknown because none of these are true. And then lastly, we can test the we can set this to, we'll keep this false actually, and then we'll set this one to true. So the mouse is, let's just say, in the cage. So now it should print the mouse will get eaten. So there. Now that means everything's working properly. So, oh yeah, Nandini has a question, so you can go.
So when I try typing this the mouse and cat cage program, then it's giving me errors.
Okay, you can share your screen so that I can see what it's giving you.
Okay. So wait.
Give me a second. Okay, so you didn't create a new project.
I did.
So you're doing right now you're doing it in the Python terminal. That's why it doesn't have a run button. So right now just go to File, up in the top left, File, New File, and then did anything pop up?
Yeah.
Okay, and then you're gonna click Control S. It's gonna give you an untitled page. You're just gonna click Control S on that. And you're gonna save it in here. And you're gonna say if statements. And you can do if statements to just replace it. Yes, you can replace it. You have multiple. Okay, why don't you close the previous one out?
All right.
And then it'll let you open it. And then you can go and open it again.
All right. Thank
And
you.
then does it give you a blank screen?
It shows me this.
Oh yeah, that's perfect. That's where you start coding every time. Don't never code in the terminal because that won't work. So this is where you can code and then run it by going up there and pressing run,
Alright.
and then that's how it's gonna work. And then I'm just gonna monitor the chat for a minute. It says, okay, so just so you know, the meeting there's a limit to record on Zoom. So what we're gonna do in about 2 minutes is we're gonna just log off, but make sure to join again, like join right back again, because there's a limit to record on Zoom for I think about 30 minutes. So just what I want you to do is just log off immediately and then just come back. Click the same link, come back, and then we'll go from there. But in 2 minutes, I'll just tell you when to log off. Let me share my screen again. Okay, everyone can see it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So are there any questions about this? Because this might be a bit confusing. And we're going to use this later on as well.
Yes. So could you please explain like the overview or like a summary of what this is? Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
So an if statement asks if something is true or not. And if it's either true or false. If it's true, it's going to perform something. It can print something, it can run something. So anything like that. So it just asks whether something is true or not. And if it is true, it's going to perform something. And it's the same with else if, but you're giving another condition. And that also just the same thing as if. It's just another condition. Else is used when every value here is false. If none of these values are true, then the else comes into play. And then yeah. But let's say we remove this else and we set both of these to false. It's either going to give us an error or nothing will happen. Nothing happened because none of those are true. But we can use else to change that and actually do something. So I'm going to put that back. And so that's if and else statements. Are there any questions on it? Any last minute questions before I move on to the next topic? Okay, great. What I'm gonna ask you to do now is log off, but immediately come back. So yeah, you can go ahead and log